Golden State Media Concepts Fantasy Football Podcast is your one-stop shop for fantasy football news and advice. Can't decide on who to draft on the first round? Going gaga on how to line up your team. We've got you covered. Traditional leagues, dynasty leagues, PPR league, IDP league, even daily fantasy football league. Join us as we break down all the questions of fantasy football. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Fantasy Football Podcast.
What is up? Welcome to the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. As we get into the show today, we're going to be doing a look at the overall draft rankings put by Fantasy Pros. This is the site that I use all the time, fantasypros.com. Not a plug, but it is a plug because they are very good at what they do over there when it comes to getting all your fantasy knowledge in one spot. As they whenever they do their rankings, it's usually a consensus rankings, and they get a bunch of different experts from all over the country, different publications and outlets and stuff like that. So they'll be able to do that. We might do another mock draft as well here in this show, as well as we have now our rookies knowing where they are and where they're going to be going as far as what team they're on. Obviously, depends on teams help, obviously, when it comes to that. But the big thing I want to talk about first segment, we're definitely going to talk about the top 10 a lot in this first segment. I'll go through what they have right now on Fantasy Pros. This is a consensus of 44 experts. And these, I don't know if they're updated every day, but it says May 22nd, but I don't think they're updated every day. This is a consensus, and they have the best and worst, what was the worst ranking that was given to them by one individual voter, and what was the best by any individual voter. So I'll give you guys to that too. But then obviously my thoughts on where these players should actually be. But right now, Todd Gurley is earning the number one spot. This is not PPR. Probably if I switch this over to PPR, I bet you Le'Veon Bell jumps into that first spot, and I'll switch it to PPR, and sure enough, Le'Veon Bell is right there at number one with Todd Gurley number two, Zeke number three, or actually make that Antonio Brown number three, which makes sense. Zeke actually drops down to number 6. That's something we can talk about here a lot in this first segment, the fact that you have a bunch of guys all jumbled up in the top of this top 10, and they can kind of shuffle around however you want. David Johnson, fortunately for him, not coming off of a leg injury, coming off of an arm injury, so he should be just fine when it comes to durability and bouncing back when it comes to that. But yeah, Le'Veon Bell, when it comes to PPR, is your number one. And I think, honestly, what I might have to go post some fantasy stats. What percentage of these leagues are PPR, which are not? I'll treat it as if it's half and half, so we'll kind of go through half and half as we look at this tier 1, which is picks 1 through 7. They have tier 1 as 1 through 7. I mean, I could just do a top 10 for you guys, assuming that there's 8-man leagues, there's 10-man leagues, there's 12-man leagues. We're going to go right in the middle. So the difference, we'll do the 10-man league, and your top 10 picks would be obviously the guy who picks 10th, picks 11th, assuming snake draft, which I think is the way to go because it just makes it more exciting and can help people with the strategy of their picks as far as whether you have a pick back-to-back or close, whether it's within 3 picks of each other, or you got to wait 20 picks or so to get something. That's why I actually almost kind of prefer sometimes being closer to the edges of the old picking, whether it's 1 through 3 or 7 through 10 or 8 through 10. All right, but yeah, Bell, Gurley, Brown, Johnson, Hopkins, Elliott, Beckham, Kamara, Jones. That's your top 10 for PPR. According to Fantasy Pros for Standard, it's going to be Gurley, Bell, Elliott, Brown, Johnson, Hopkins, Beckham, Kamara, Hunt, Jones. So that's for not PPR. That's for Standard. So, you definitely have your running backs. I'm honestly... I still have Odell Beckham Jr. still sitting in there at number 10. Saquon Barkley's at 13, but I mean, Odell Beckham has the injury. Honestly, I like to stay away from him. Last year was probably a bust. Ended up being because of the injury, fantasy wise. I like to stay away from him. I'd put him. If he miraculously fell to me in the second round, then yeah, sure, I'll get him because it's called a value pick. But other than that, no, thank you, because I just diva running. He's a diva. Everybody, he's a diva. So I definitely would put him. More closer to like 12, 13. I like Michael Thomas better. Because he has Drew Brees throwing to him instead of Eli Manning, soon to be Sam Darnold. Maybe when Sam gets in there, we'll see how. I'm not Sam Darnold. Actually, whoa. Soon to be Davis Webb, not Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold's on the Jets and plays for the other team in that stadium. But yeah, no. There's no heir apparent right now. Davis Webb is the heir apparent for Eli Manning. We'll see how quickly Odell Beckham finds a new team once Eli's gone. I think he's destined for possibly Tampa Bay next year. That could be a thing. Kind of ended up where people go. We saw a bunch of receivers end up going over there, like Jackson and Jackson. All right. But yeah, continuing looking at these top 10, I love DeAndre Hopkins, especially if he's got a healthy Deshaun Watson. That top 5, honestly, you can't go wrong. You're going to get a top player. You're going to get Brown. You're going to get a Gurley. You're going to get an Elliott. You're going to get a Bell. I mean, I think Le'Veon is the number one pick, regardless of PPR or not, because of the fact that he just gets so much touches. Volume. So many touches. So much volume. It's not even funny how much that guy touches the ball. And when he touches the ball, that's points. And yeah, you'll get mixed up the negative points or what have you, but it's not even funny. Kamara, sophomore season coming up. Hunt, sophomore season coming up. Yeah, they should probably be back late first round. That's about right there in my book. But David Johnson can be up there in top 5. I think he used to be like a number 1 guy, but now I think he's top 5 because the fact that you have all this talent on the top with Gurley, Bell, and Zeke. But he's going to have to bounce back and maybe be a comeback player of the year. Gurley, though, I think Gurley's got all the pressure because the fact that he's got to bounce back and have another good year. Not bounce back, bounce forward, continuing on bouncing, because whether it's the Sean McVay light bulb, just like it happened, the flip was switched, the Sean McVay flip was switched, just like it was with Jared Goff. But John Gurley, dang, that guy was a barn burner last year. He was a team wrecker last year. He was a league winner last year for yours truly. But for some reason, I have a tough time just absolutely locking in the fact that he's going to have another great season. I don't know. Rams, their offense is also pretty good too. So it's all looking as it's all looking in the right direction for Los Angeles and for Todd Gurley in general. Zeke, can't go wrong with him. I think Zeke is. We've seen it with Zeke. I've seen Zeke has been in the league less than Todd Gurley, and I'm more confident with Zeke right now because of his offensive line, because of the fact that he's going to get a lot of touches as well. Jared Goff is better than Dak Prescott in my head, and has more weapons when it comes to receivers as well. So I think that he can do a little more in the passing game. Might take away a little bit from Tom Gurley, but what the Dallas Cowboys have to do is put a security blanket and wrap it tight around Dak Prescott, and that guy's name is Ezekiel Elliott, and he's a security blanket. And now he doesn't have his other security blanket just in case Zeke gets caught up in the courts. He doesn't have that anymore. Jason Witten has retired, so he's going to have to figure it out with Zeke, and I think Zeke's going to get a lot of touches this year. So honestly, I'd do Bell, Zeke, Gurley. Bell, Zeke, Gurley is my top 3. Bell, Zeke, Gurley, Antonio Brown, love him at 4. He's a 4 pick. He's the 4th pick. He's the best receiver. I've wanted him before David Johnson, even PPR. PPR, maybe he jumps into the 3rd pick in front of Zeke. I think Zeke drops because he doesn't catch very many balls out of the backfield. In PPR, he drops to like 6. I agree with that. David Johnson does catch the ball in the backfield good enough, and he'll be Well, that's another question. How fast is Sam Bradford going to get out of the way of the Chosen Rosen? And Chosen Rosen and David Johnson can go have some fun down there in the desert. But yeah, after that, I think Odell can get out of there at 7. I think Odell, the one thing he can actually do is get in the end zone. That's the one thing. He actually does get in the end zone just enough. But I'm not biggest Odell fan. I drop him down probably early second round, where Michael Thomas is, and Michael Thomas has Drew Brees, and Michael Thomas is due for a breakout season. Michael Thomas should be up in the top 10, and I will literally draft Michael Thomas probably with my first pick if I have the choice to do it, if DeAndre Hopkins is not there, honestly. If DeAndre Hopkins is not there, if it's between Odell and Michael Thomas, I'm taking Michael Thomas because he's really the number one option right now in New Orleans. He's more healthy, he's bigger, he can go get the ball, he's got a better quarterback, and a better offense, it's more balanced, and obviously we'll see how balanced that New York running game is. Offense is now with the new running game and Saquon Barkley, but got to go with Michael Thomas. I love Michael Thomas. I'd jump him up very quickly, so I would honestly so my top 10 would be Bell, Elliott, Gurley, Brown, Johnson, Hopkins, Thomas, Kamara, Hunt, and then Julio Jones. Or maybe even flip-flop. Honestly, Kamara and Hunt, you can go either way. I think it's flip-flop. They're both in very good offenses. The one thing with Hunt is I think he's going to be... I think, honestly, there's other little mini factors that would jump Hunt in front of Kamara. Because Kamara has another running back in Mark Ingram that he has to share carries with, and B, Kareem Hunt is going to be now the sophomore running back for the sophomore quarterback that is actually going to be his first year starting. So Hunt's got way more experience on the field, obviously, in the back when it comes to the two guys in the backfield next year for Kansas City. But with Patrick Mahomes, I think that Andy Reid is really going to try and manage his game plan, especially early in the season. Kareem Hunt is going to get a lot of carries. And he's going to be a guy to catch out of the backfield. I mean, that's my top 10 for non-PPR. For PPR, I jump Kareem Hunt up into the top 5, no doubt. I'd say Bell, Gurley, Antonio Brown, David Johnson at 4, then put Hunt at 5, or maybe even put Gurley. I mean, make it Gurley. Make it Bell, Gurley, Brown, Hopkins. Get a receiver in there, and then at 4, and then Hunt at 5, David Johnson at 6. So so getting a receiver in there at PP for the PPR. So yeah, that's what I would do. Bell, Gurley, Brown, Hopkins, Hunt, top 5 for PPR, and then put David Johnson in 6, and then Michael Thomas still. Not Odell, Michael Thomas, all the way. I think that he's going to have a better... I don't think I know. I just know because it's Drew Brees, and Drew Brees lost a couple other... He likes to spread the ball around, but I think this year he's going to finally... He has... They're kind of that... they're going to be more of a run and gun kind of, run it, play defense, throw the ball deep, kind of an offense when it comes to... When they have these the two monsters back there with Kamara and Ingram. Brees will be throwing the ball out of the backfield to them out of the backfield a lot, and he'll be going play action and having Michael Thomas open deep and over the middle a lot too, as well as going to have that void behind those linebackers. They're going to be really looking for those two running backs who can either go out and passes or not, or do whatever. So they're going to run a lot of two-back sets. I think Michael Thomas is going to have a crazy season, and I think that New York offense is honestly going to shift away a little bit from Odell Beckham, because he was hurt last year, and they don't want to have as much wear and tear from him coming into the season, especially early in the year, and they want to get Saquon Barkley's feet wet. I think they're going to toss him right in the fire and get Saquon out there and have him run have him get a big bulk of the carries a lot in the season, and bulk of maybe even the touches overall. So. And also, Odell has Eli throwing him, and I'm not the biggest Eli fan right at this point. I think Eli, maybe if Saquon really hits hard and becomes a big player and can create some plays in the play action with the running game. They're sucking up those linebackers if they fake it to Saquon, and maybe that can get Odell open a little bit more. The more open, the better, obviously, for any receiver. But I think it's going to be even more of a paramount thing when it comes to how open Odell is, when it comes to how well Eli can fit that ball into him. All right. That'll wrap it up for the first segment. We kind of just talked about the top 10. In the next segment, we're going to do the rest of the top 20, maybe even the top 30 in this next segment, and then we're going to go. And I think, I'm going to do I'll do a mock draft with this. We'll do a draft simulator, and I'll kind of just talk through it live as I'm doing it, especially with these new rookies in there and implementing kind of what I've been talking about with these draft rankings. So we'll do that when we come back. Stay tuned.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. As we did a deep dive into the first 10 guys I deem good enough. I mean, I know I pulled one up from the top 15. I know Michael Thompson right now is at 12. We don't forget about Leonard Fournette. Honestly, Leonard Fournette, if you really want a running back in that first round and you're like, okay, well, it honestly doesn't really matter if you have a pick, if you have back-to-back picks. But if you are somebody who really wants a running back in the first round, Leonard Fournette is not a bad pick and can do some wonders for you. And obviously, if it's 12-man league, he is a first-rounder because you're going to take him, and you're going to take him probably with that 8th or 9th or 10th or 11th pick, and then you'll get another pick, and you'll get Michael Thomas if nobody listens to me, or you'll get Odell if they do, because he'll be the one available. Obviously, there's plenty of talent left, as Saquon Barkley is a big topic of conversation. He's already right now 13th in these rankings. I mean, if I change it to PPR, he might even get up higher because of the fact that he is going to be a pass-catching running back and can be a guy that he drops to 14. I mean, I think he could be a guy who can be more effective in PPR because of the fact that Eli Manning's going to need some help. I don't know how that offensive line is going to look. They only got Nate Solder from the Patriots. It all comes into fruition in fantasy. You gotta account for everything when it comes to fantasy, because the fact that if, say, the quarterback's under duress a little more, weak offensive line can mean maybe more catches for your running back because he's going to be thrown to the flat a lot or the check down a lot. Weak receiving core, same thing. But weak offensive line can be tough in general. I usually like to stay away from teams that have weak offensive lines because it seems like their offense just kind of sputters out a lot of the time, and none of their players can really get. He really starts with the offensive line play and being able to protect the quarterback, and the running backs will protect the quarterback, make holes, create holes for the running back as well. So it's definitely going to be something that you need to think about when you are a person that's going to be drafting, obviously, coming in the next few months. So think about that, as well as thinking about where you are going to find value in that second round. That second round value, like I said, if it's a 10-man league, the second round value is going to be AJ Green for sure, because that's the guy who you're going to be very, very happy with if you get in the second round after picking a top-tier running back. So AJ Green's 15 right now, so that's kind of middle of the road. So say you get David Johnson with the 5th pick, you come back with the 15th pick, and you get an AJ Green, you're sitting very nicely right now. So you got to like that if you are a drafter. Also, Keenan Allen can be a big guy, can be another guy where if you get a running back, a big top-tier running back, he'll probably be somebody who is still on the board for you to think about drafting as far as receivers. It kind of does drop off. The thing is, Michael Thomas is there. So for those who are listening to my show and then are playing against players who don't listen to the show, maybe they'll think that Michael Thomas is that second round guy, and you'd be like, I was going to wait for him, honestly. He's going to be a guy probably where you're going to pick, if you're going to get a Leonard Fournette with that 10th pick, you're going to come right back with the 11th pick, take a Michael Thomas, or 9th pick and 12th pick. I would love if I had the 9th pick and I get Kareem Hunt and then get Michael Thomas with the 12th pick, I'd be like, thank you very much. I'll take that. Thank you. Or get a pair of teammates with Kamara and Thomas. I mean, you get both worlds. Whenever the Saints are on offense, I'd be paying attention to your fantasy scores because they could be going up. Yeah. So that's how you get. I mean, that's how we kind of work through that second round. I know that second round can be kind of weird when it comes to people who did not pick running backs. If you got Antonio Brown, or if you got DeAndre Hopkins in that first round, there's plenty of running backs to be had. Dalvin Cook's coming back off injury. I mean, you got Sean McCoy, Devonta Freeman are both guys. Obviously, Saquon's sitting there. Melvin Gordon. I think Melvin Gordon's ready for a big year down there in San Diego. They got a bunch of weapons. Their defense is good. The offense is going to be on the field a lot. Lots of opportunity for Melvin to be successful. All right. As we continue to look through here, I know the top tight end obviously is Rob Gronkowski. He's at 23. I don't think that he's going to be anywhere near that. I mean, maybe reach in the second round, but I would not do that. As far as kind of getting through with these rankings, they have Christian McCaffrey so low, they have Tyreek Hill so low, but I mean, there's just so many names here. I wouldn't really deviate that much from here. I think Melvin Gordon gets a little bit of a bump because of the fact that he plays with Phillip Rivers, and I think that that's pretty good. That's good for him, the fact that he can have those little Phillip Rivers very accurate in the flats and over the middle to running back, so only could help Melvin. I think he's a great PPR running back. If you're looking for PPR, I think that's something that you can think about. Melvin Gordon being a very serviceable running back there for the Chargers. I think that you need to look at it. Like I said, I've been saying this whole time. We're talking about draft. As we talk about this draft talk, you need to play the room. You need to fill it out as you go along. This is not gonna likely it'll go chalk. Not likely it'll go chalk all the way down the board, and people will just make weird picks and go reach for people all over the place. So you're seeing somebody draft quarterbacks in the first round. Probably shouldn't be happening. Or even the second or third round, and so you can kind of just work your way through the draft that way. I mean, I got Todd Gurley in the third round last year. I think my second round pick was Mike Evans or DeAndre. Actually, I think it was DeAndre Hopkins. I got him in the second round last year. He might be the people were more clamoring. I don't know. We had a couple quarterbacks get picked in the first round, which was not good. I think that's going to get changed over this year as we're seeing that. Most of the pedigree, most of your points are going to be coming from running backs and receivers. Obviously, I think the running backs, especially for PPR, because we're seeing teams go back to this West Coast offense. So a lot more screens, a lot more swing passes to running backs out of the backfield, a lot more check downs as these linebackers become much more athletic. They're able to cover down the field as well. I mean, they kind of, when you have these plays where these linebackers are kind of where they're going down the field to cover a tight end, you'd want that tight end to be open, obviously, to get more chunk play with a chunk yardage over the middle. But if he's covered, then you have that void right over on the other side of the line of scrimmage to throw it to your running back. and he can get a little bit. He can at least get some yards, and that's where you're going to get a lot of your catches from your running backs. And I think, obviously, Melvin Gordon, Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, all guys that are going to get touches like that. So, I mean, if you really want to go running back, I'd even shove those guys up maybe a little further, closer to the beginning of the second round. So, I mean, that's basically beginning of the second round is picks like 13, 14, 15, or 11, 12, 13, basically, for most leagues, and you're looking at Saquon and Melvin Gordon right there. And these are for people who probably put receivers. So I mean, I've been seeing guys go running back, and kind of fill out their receivers the rest of the draft. I mean, there's plenty of talented people out there. I mean, you still got Adam Thielen out there in the mid of second round, Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Alshon Jeffrey, all out there. I mean, lots of options throughout that whole second round. And when we do the in the next segment, when we start that draft simulator, I'll definitely go over and look and tell you, who's still available in the second round, who is still out there. And, not reaching and kind of just getting guys that are going to get touches. It's about volume. And, we love yards. Yards will come. It's kind of yards or more where you're going to have that luck, but where you're really going to get your brass tacks and get your expected points, and how you can maximize those expected points is going to get through volume and ability to actually catch the ball. I mean, have a chances, number of chances. Give me an opportunity. Throw me a bone. Give me an opportunity. I mean, best ability is availability, obviously, and the next one is definitely opportunity. So the more opportunity they can have, the better, because you can be the most talented running back, but if you never get the ball, then or a receiver, if you never get the ball because the quarterback sucks, then that sucks. That's why that's why Odell Beckham falls down my list so far, at least a little bit further than, and I try and prop up Michael Thomas. He's definitely somebody. Julio Jones also. I mean, Matt Ryan slid a little bit, very especially on fantasy the last few years. I think a little unfairly. I think he doesn't need to slide that as far as he did. I think, what was he, like 16th in quarterbacks? He wasn't in the top half of the starting quarterbacks in this league, or right on the number. I mean, the middle, literally. So, and that's not very fair. I mean, Joe Mixon's still sitting there. If you want to get two running backs in the first and second round, I mean, I wouldn't, because there's only so many good receivers out there, and having a good receiver just to not have to worry about sitting in your lineup every week is something that don't take for granted. So I definitely would go running back, receiver to start off the draft, or vice versa, and then just do running back, come back to receiver later, because or running back, tight end, come back to receiver later, because there's tons of guys out there that can be a very productive receiver too. And you could also mix and match your receivers as well, because getting a bunch on your bench and just kind of putting them up there depending on matchups and stuff is always helpful. And then also obviously having your every week starter on top, your top tier guy going as well. So that's the way I look at it. I mean, as far as top tier guys, receivers, obviously AB, DeAndre Hopkins, yes. Beckham, I guess. Julio and Michael Thomas, yes. AJ Green, Keenan Allen, yes. Devontae Adams, yes. And Mike Evans. That's pretty much where it ends right there. And maybe even you could throw Tyreek Hill in there. I still crazy. Doug Baldwin is right now 24th. Yeah, I guess so. If they don't double cover him every time, then Russell, I guess, will just run. I mean, the thing is about the one saving grace with having Russell Wilson is defenses really can't play man that much. They have to play a lot of zone because of the fact that he runs. So Doug Baldwin is really, really good at finding the soft spot in the zone coverage. And Wilson can actually is also very good at finding him in those soft spots as well. So those guys work so well together. So I mean, maybe that's why they think, especially in a PPR, it's in standard. So he's a 24 on standard. I mean, PPR to see slide up a little bit just because of the fact that there's no other people to catch the football on the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, looking at 24, yeah, he does slide up. He slides up to 20. So he slides up 4 spots on PPR. And, because of the fact that, there's really nobody else to throw the football to. I mean, you got Rashard Penny in the draft, and we'll see how well he is catching passes out of the backfield. But we know Doug Baldwin's a veteran and a proven veteran at that, and he has a very, very good chemistry connection with Russell Wilson. And the fact that, those defenses really can't play man-to-man straight up with the Seahawks because of the fact that Russell can run so well. Unless they have a spy, obviously. If you run the man with a spy, then you could probably get away with it. But they run a lot of zones against the Seahawks, and Baldwin's very good at finding the soft spot in between the coverages, and Wilson can get the ball in there. They're both that good. So I mean, they're probably the best 2 players on that team, especially on the offense at least. So that's it on that one. McCaffrey's up there. Love McCaffrey. Honestly, I draft him in a heartbeat. I think he's going to have a breakout season this year with the Panthers. I think he could be a guy where, especially in PPR, I wouldn't even be afraid of drafting him in the second round and having him be my number 1 running back. And drafting, if I say I get the 4th pick and I get Antonio Brown with my first pick overall, and then I come into the second round, and I don't want Melvin Gordon, or if I don't get Leonard Fournette or something like that, because I have to wait all the way to the middle of the second round anyways, I might reach and grab Christian McCaffrey, honestly, for PPR, because he's that good, and he's that elusive and gets a lot of yards over the catch as well. All right, we'll wrap it up, and we'll put it to the test, and we'll do a mock draft when we come back, and I'll probably take up the last 2 segments, so stay tuned, and we'll do that in just a moment.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA Podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. That is the Fantasy Football Podcast, as we are going to be doing a mock draft here in the last 2 segments. Let's do PPR, because I always do PPR. I'm in a PPR league, and we'll do a 10-team league, as we decided we're going to do that. Oh, look at that. I got the 9th pick. Look at that. All right, what do we want? We're going to do 1 running back, 2 running backs, 1 quarterback, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 running back receiver flex, 1 kicker, 1 defensive team, and 6 bench. All right, that's perfect. All right, there we go. As we're going to get into this mock draft here, and I have the 9th pick, so I'm not going to be picking. Wow, so okay, first 8 picks, obviously. Look at that, Michael Thomas. What did I say? Michael Thomas. This is a random. This is an educated draft bot. Simulator. Michael Thomas went 8th. Michael Thomas went 8th, and obviously I have the decision now to make at 9. 9 was that Kamara Hunt kind of decision. Obviously, Kareem Hunt is still available, so it went. Antonio Brown went number 1 overall. Then Bell, Gurley, Johnson, Hopkins, Elliott went 6th because of PPR, and Beckham went 7th, and Michael Thomas went 8th right after that. So PPR, I'm going to take Kamara because of the fact that he's going to catch the ball a lot out of the backfield. And we're going to have lots to talk about there. Obviously now, just 2 other picks since then. So now I get to See, now it's telling me the highest percentage is take Kareem Hunt. So you have Kareem Hunt and Kamara with the first 2 picks, but I'm going to stay away. I'm going to go receiver because I know that Christian McCaffrey's still out there, and I can nab him with the if he's still. I mean, the thing is, that's the problem. I have back-to-back picks almost. I had the 9th and the 12th pick. So we're going to go. Well, we have all the bye weeks now. So Kamara is the bye week number is his 6th. So I don't want to pick the same, but we're gonna pick Keenan Allen. Or actually, no, we're gonna take AJ Green. Even though I don't know, I like Keenan Allen better because I like Phillip Rivers better than Andy Dalton. So I mean that's the big decider for me. That's kind of, those guys were basically dead even. Let's see. Did McCaffrey? Look at that. McCaffrey went 2 picks after, and Hunt didn't go till 6th pick in the 2nd round. So he dropped a bunch. Kareem Hunt did. Dalvin Cook, Melvin Gordon, Mike Adams, Devontae Adams, Robert Gronkowski. Devontae Adams didn't go till 3rd round. AJ Green went eventually. And then, so now I'm going to look and see. Right now it says Devontae Freeman is going to be the next big guy for me right now. So I think that Devontae, Stephon Diggs, and Zach Ertz are the top 6 right now. As I look at these draft rankings, Aaron Rodgers actually already got picked. Somebody going 3rd round, Rodgers, 3rd round quarterback. He was the 6th. That's the first quarterback to go. As we've cut through the top 25 of the overall guys, Devontae Freeman is the highest available. So is Fitzgerald's right there at 28. McKinnon and Diggs at 30 and 31. Honestly, I'll take Devontae Freeman as my 2nd running back, even though I think he had the same bye week, but I can mix and match. His same bye week as Keenan Allen. I can mix and match that a little bit too. So yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't want to get the same bye week as Kamara though. We want to stay away from that one because then you're gonna have to deal with the running backs. Let's see here as we're getting in now. What is this? This is my 32nd pick overall, 4th round. All right, I already picked Keenan Allen. I think it's time. Is it not? I don't know. Is it time for a tight end yet? This thing, tight end or running back? Tight end or quarterback? Obviously, I already picked Keenan Allen. Devontae Freeman. Jerry McKinnon was just picked. So, actually, we're going to go Stephon Diggs. Honestly, I want another receiver. I like going receiver, tight end. I like going running back, receiver. So right now I'm sitting at Kamara, Freeman, Keenan Allen, and Stephon Diggs. Not bad at all. Not shabby. Obviously, I had to wait a while to pick again. Again, I'm going to stay from quarterback. I might go tight end. I might go because I know I still have my quarterback still sitting there, and his name is Drew Brees. Or Kirk Cousins, honestly, or Carson Wentz. They're still on the board. Russell Wilson's sitting there. I get to pick right after this. Sean Watson just got picked, as we have had three quarterbacks get picked: Watson, Brady, and Rodgers. Russell Wilson is still on the board. So look at that. What did I say about Russell Wilson? Listen to me. I mean, this is a I know this is all simulated, but this is probably telling you they're taking in algorithms. The whole idea of it is what they think people are going to do come the actual draft time. They're not just going straight up by the rankings here. So I think that as far as receivers, the top 20 has been depleted. I think it might be time to go to a tight end. I'm going to grab Evan Ingram right here with this pick because of the fact that, I mean, there's really nothing available here. And now I might go quarterback. Marvin Jones is on there. So is Mark Ingram, but he has the same bye week as, obviously being the same team as Kamara, my other running back. Don't really want to have the same guys. Might reach here for a quarterback in the 6th round. Just because I really want, because that's the only time we go for a quarterback. I say wait for a quarterback, but I want another one, or might grab Marvin Jones. I like Marvin Jones, honestly. He gets a good, yeah. Well, actually, we're going to snag Marvin Jones here. I don't want Russell Wilson. As there go all the rest of the quarterbacks. Drew Brees gone. Kirk Cousins is still there. Jimmy Garoppolo, Ben Roethlisberger's gone. Matt Stafford. Might have to just wait on Matt Stafford, honestly, and start picking up some of these more of these skill players here. As Mark Ingram is still there, so is Derrick Henry. I like Derrick Henry on Tennessee. Let's snag Derrick Henry, honestly, because still don't want a quarterback. I'm just trying to stick with my with my things here, as I'm gonna wait on here. We're at round 8 I think this is the halfway point of the draft. We've kind of been flying through here, and I still have a few more minutes on this segment. I want to spread this out into the second segment. So we're sitting right now at round 8, pick 72. My team looks like this. I have Kamara and Devontae Freeman as my starting 2 running backs, Keenan Allen and Stephon Diggs, Evan Ingram, and Marvin Jones as my as all these pass catching guys. Allen and Diggs, top 2 receivers. I like that, honestly. Those are 2 kind of in the now receivers. It's guys that I think that are going to have breakout seasons because they have some good young quarterbacks thrown to them. Or not young. Phil Rivers isn't young, but they have good guys. good. Just quarterbacks that know how to get the job done. Whether it's Kirk Cousins or Phil Rivers, they haven't really made a big splash quite yet in the NFL, but they know how to get the job done. As far as tight end, I like Evan Ingram. He's kind of that smaller tight end, faster, can get on those safeties and linebackers quickly, and you get himself open. Same thing with the zone there. You can find the soft spots in the zone. Eli can hit you. I love Marvin Jones in that flex position, as I'm just kind of feeling it out here. Not waiting on a quarterback. Do I go quarterback now? 6th round. 8th round, kind of found everybody out as far as it. Pretty much it's either a quarterback, Mark Ingram, or Deion Lewis and J.J. are still on there too, and so is Sammy Watkins. So as far as the top guys, I don't know. We're trying to decide. We're looking at it here. I don't know what this. Yeah, so it means that they have this whole handcuff thing. It basically means guys there. If you already have somebody who's on a team, like I already have a running back. We get this two running backs on the same team, because then you're going to be deciding to go off each other. I know actually somebody on my team in the league had both Kamara and in my league last year had Kamara and Ingram, and they were the only guys that actually scored points for him last year. Didn't have a good year, but both those guys racked up. I think they combined for like 60 points, 2 or 3 times during the season last year. So it's gonna be it's interesting to see how it'll work out this year. As far as it goes, this with that matchup, I think everybody's going to get adjusted to them. As far as the 2-headed monster in the backfield for New Orleans, I think it's going to really be on their defense again this year to make things go. All right, honestly, I think 8th round's good enough. I don't want to miss out. I want Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think I'm just going to snag him right here with the 8th pick, because I don't have a pick for quite a while. And I don't want to see all these quarterbacks get off the board before it comes back to me. So we're just going to take Jimmy Garoppolo there. Look at that. Matthew Stafford stays on the board. Jimmy probably would have gone. I bet you Jimmy would have gone. But how many of the? Oh, everybody has a quarterback now, so nobody needs one. That was the somebody actually picked a quarterback twice, because there's. Oh no, that's it. Yeah, that's 10 quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford's the last quarterback left, and he was not picked by anybody, so I picked Jimmy instead of Matthew Stafford, which I actually kind of like. Matthew throws a lot of picks. Not the picks are okay. Not the picks are that bad, but I wanted a different bye week too. You need to mix it up a little bit. Got 2 6s and 2 8s, which I don't like usually. Got to stay away from that normally, but this is why the simulations are for. Got to simulate it and kind of do it a couple times. So you got to, everybody go. I would say go on Fantasy Pros, do the draft simulator. It's pretty cool because they don't just go. I know you can go sit in the draft rooms and do them with other people. That's cool. That's good too. Go do that too. But this one, if you just want to do it by yourself, you don't want to have to wait in a queue or anything. It's really quick, and you could run through this in probably 25 minutes. Really, this whole thing, maybe even quicker than that. Depending on how many teams you do, because it is cool because it doesn't actually go just straight down the list. It actually goes and bounces around a little bit, goes off of bye weeks and factors in a lot of different stuff regarding that. Right now, It's all about filling up my bench, it looks like here, or defensive starter and a kicker, obviously, and filling up my bench. Emmanuel Sanders is what they're saying right now for me to pick. He does have a Week 10 bye, which is the same as my other receiver, Stephon Diggs. So I kind of want to stay away from that. Marlon Mack is actually also being recommended because of his the fact that he's really the only running back that Indianapolis has right now. And he probably get the bulk of the carries there. Also, Tariq Cohen, the guy for the Bears. I actually really like Tariq Cohen because of the fact that he's going to catch the ball in the backfield a lot. Is a good security blanket for the young Mitchell Trubisky. All right, we're going to wrap up this segment right here. We're going to cut it and come back and finish off the show with the rest of this mock draft, and probably just do some talk at the end regarding how to get through your draft and how to don't let the numbers overwhelm you when it comes to the old rankings, and kind of mix it up. You want to mix up the rankings. You don't want to go just chalk usually. Sometimes you got to use your own intuition and use your own set of variables that you put on different things. Obviously, there's lots of different implications you can think about when it comes to fantasy football. All right, we'll be right back after this.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
All right, welcome back, GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast, as we are going to be finishing up this mock draft, this draft simulator, whatever you want to call it, in this last segment. Well, that music just cuts right out, doesn't it? But no, it's the sultry sounds of my voice talking about this mock draft that I'm doing right now as I have a pick, 9th round, 89th pick overall. I just got Tariq. Am I going to get Tariq Cohen? Is that who I was going to pick? I think that's who it was. And there we go. Get up on those running backs all day. Ben Roethlisberger, yeah. Nobody wants a quarterback. Everybody's got their quarterback now. I got Tariq Cohen on my bench and probably two running backs. So now I'm probably going to go receiver. Look at that. Emmanuel Sanders is still there. So is Devontae Parker. I think I've had Emmanuel Sanders on my team for like the last 3 years, and he never really enamors me. As far as the bye weeks go, my quarterback is the 11th week bye, but it's fine. Devontae Parker will be the choice there, and I think he's really going to be the number one guy in Miami, and now with Jarvis Landry going over to Cleveland. But have a lot of picks in between, as now assist Matthew Stafford, pick him. I already have a quarterback. I don't need another one. I'll pick one off the scrap heap. There's a bunch of guys. If you come around to the old waiver wire, when it comes to that when it comes to that waiver, the bye week, that is. I actually want to look back and see where did they have Saquon going? Oh, Saquon was the first pick of the second round. Saquon Barkley was the first pick of the second round. Went before Kareem Hunt in this mock draft. I don't know about that. That's crazy. I like the Cleveland. I like the Kansas City offense better than I like the Giants offense, just in general. So that means that I think that Kareem is going to have a better year. Right now, I'm sitting Kerryon Johnson, Kyle Rudolph, Deshaun Jackson is a top receiver left right now. Also got Kenny Stills, DJ Moore, the rookie. Alan Hearns is on Dallas now. Martavis Bryant on the Raiders. Calvin Ridley is a rookie. Dede Westbrook, Mohamed Sanu. Honestly, I'm going to go running back because I can just drop these guys, mix and match receivers. I like Kerryon Johnson. I've liked him out of high school. I wanted a rookie on this team anyways. So I'm taking Kerryon Johnson as another running back. My bench is 3 running backs and 1 receiver right now, and might honestly be 2 more running backs. I'll be honest with you, because that's just how I think this league is going to go. In a lot of them are pass catching running backs too, to mind you. So don't get it twisted. Actually, this pick will probably be a receiver, and it's going to be Deshaun Jackson, because it just gets some speed on the outside. You never know. I've had Deshaun Jackson for 2 years, I think, in a row. This past couple seasons, whether it's picked up over waiver wire or not, or drafted, or whatever, he has games where he'll just go off randomly. He'll get 2 touchdowns, and that's it. That's his whole season. He'll be done. That's kind of all he does. Now we're getting closer to the end here as we're in the 13th round. Obviously, we're still waiting on. Honestly, should I just be that guy who picks the defense randomly? Because we're getting to that point here where I don't really care about who I get on my bench, because I could always just mix and match them. I care who I have to deal with being on my defense. So honestly, we're going to go defense already right now, and we're going to grab the Minnesota Vikings defense, because I want a defense that I like, and we're just going to grab that defense right here in the 13th round. I don't really care. And to say, look at that. Oh, what happens? Did other people pick defenses? Nope. Somebody picked Jacksonville. So there you go. Somebody picked Jacksonville, and I still have Kenny Stills sitting right there, and Isaiah Crowell, who actually I really like. So I'm going to grab Isaiah Crowell with this next pick, and then I'm not going to pick for 16 times, of course. That's how a snake draft works. Isaiah Crowell, you're mine once it starts to work. No. As we get my draft simulator going here. I mean, that's the thing. Where do you pick defenses? That's kind of up to you, obviously. It kind of figures itself out as it goes. And did this just throw me back all the way to the first pick? I think it did. Oh well, I was going to get Isaiah Crowell, and then I probably would have got a kick. I got a kicker or something like that. That kind of got screwed up. But I could probably remember my team. Watch this. So this was basically my team. I had running backs were Devontae Freeman and Alvin Kamara. I had a quarterback was Jimmy Garoppolo. Receivers were Stephon Diggs. And who did I get instead? The guy from the Chargers, Keenan Allen, just Stephon Diggs and Keenan Allen. Tight end was Evan Ingram. The defense, Minnesota defense. I like Minnesota's defense better than I like Jacksonville's defense. It's pretty much neck and neck, nose to nose. And then obviously a bunch of different guys. When it comes to my bench. I love how this reset on me and everything. I lost it all. As far as kickers, honestly, love Justin Tucker. If you have a chance, grab Justin Tucker. He's automatic. He's one of the most. Kickers has honestly got a bad rap his last few years, but I love Justin Tucker. He's really automatic. As obviously, there's a bunch of guys. Will Lutz is great. Matt Bryant, Steve. Top 4 guys, I would say, or top 5. Matt Prater's up there too, as he got himself back in the good graces of this league. Found his team in Detroit, but. So as far as that, I got Kerryon Johnson. I got so Tariq Cohen grabbed Deshaun Jackson as well, and I think Devontae Parker rounded out my bench as well. So got a bunch of different guys who I thought were decent. Were good for at least the bench, and you're going to be mix and match. Bench is kind of shuttle in and out, kind of how you work it when you're a manager. So. Whatever you want to get, how you want to get it worked out is up to you. But I like to kind of just use my bench as a little revolving door kind of thing, where I'm really going to just try and push my starters as far as they can go. Obviously, we work in the old matchups and see who's playing who, and then obviously bye weeks. But the bench is always in flux for me. Look at this. This redid itself. Saquon got picked 8th. Look at that. That's how highly guarded this. Even these computers, this redid itself. The top picks actually win again. I think it may have gone off of regular versus PPR because Zeke got picked 5th, and Antonio Brown got picked 4th. So maybe not PPR this time. But yeah. All right. So we're actually going to cut this short. I mean, just by a few minutes. So we're going to end it here at 55, and we're going to come back on Thursday with some more draft talk. I might go probably going to go through team by. Well, actually, we've gone through team by team. We've gone through position by position. I know I have to talk about maybe overrated and underrated fantasy players, honestly, if we're going to do next time, because I just loved giving you my rankings and how I think some players are just really overrated and some are really underrated. So we'll probably do that. Tom's top overrated, top underrated on Thursday when we come back with the show to end the back half of this week. So everybody enjoy their the middle of the week. Have a happy Tuesday. Have a good Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday. Be sure to tune in. If you also like college football, I also do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do a college football show, so it's actually under the GSMC Football Podcast, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday I do the college football edition, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays after me today, Jesse will be does the GSMC Football Show, just the brass tacks, normal football updates, NFL, college, everything. I'm more focused on college, and that's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we'll see you guys on Thursday. Everybody have a good week. Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Fantasy Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.